everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Quality Talks. So we're taking a bit of a different direction and moving away from our traditional topics of voice AI and its capabilities and how it can optimize contact centers to go peek behind the scenes and look at the people behind the product. And in particular, the people who are in charge of making sure that the rest of us feel supported, recognized, and equipped to do our job well. So I'd love to introduce the two people who will be joining me in today's conversation. Amitha, who is our Human Resources Manager based out of the Bangalore office in India, and Amy, who is our Office and Culture Manager based here in San Francisco for our US team. So thank you both for joining me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm very excited to have this conversation. I think remote work is obviously a topic that a lot of us are focused on right now. But I think that, you know, with these challenges also come opportunities to really take this and bolster the people operations behind everything. And obviously working remote and having virtual teams places very unique challenges. So that's kind of what I'd like to talk about today is what are some of those challenges that people in these roles are facing? What have been some of the strategies and tactics that you, Amy, and Amitha have seen work well? And, you know, what can we expect next to make sure that the employee experience isn't diluted as we move remote? So to kick things off, I'd like to just take a quick step back and look at, you know, the very first days, weeks that we were seeing the business impact of COVID. I think since we have a global team, there are very unique challenges that our team in India and our team in the United States faced. But I'd love to start by asking you, Amy, you know, I know that we were in the process of moving offices here in our headquarters in San Francisco. So what were some of the challenges that you faced in making sure that people felt supported and also, you know, dealing with the logistical nightmare of moving offices and having all of that kind of go by the wayside?
Right. All right. Thank you. So the very first challenge we faced was literally moving our office. Our office move was scheduled literally the week before we got the announcement for everybody to start working from home. So there was a bit of a scramble, but once that was done, I had to next focus on communicating individually and as a team with each member of the US team to ensure that everyone understood the process moving forward to work remotely and that we wouldn't be going into the office for a while. And so this at first was a bit of a challenge because there are some people on the team who have never really worked from home this much before. So I had to make sure that people understood why we're doing it. No one's really ever been in a pandemic situation before, and to just assure everybody that, you know, we're still going to be working as a team, just in a distributed manner. But for me, it was just really making sure that communication was going across to all US members and that everybody understood that what the process would be moving forward.
Right. And I think one of the differences of a global team is that, you know, you had the challenges of the US team, but Amitha, you were facing some very different difficulties and challenges in terms of infrastructure and collaboration. And I know that in India, there was a much stricter lockdown that was put into place very quickly. So what were some of the things that you experienced during this transition and how did you work to solve them?
So there were two big concerns that came up immediately. One was on how to stay focused while doing work from home, how to maintain the right posture, since most of us are used to sitting on our couch or, you know, in living room while working. So yes, that was one challenge that we realized that employees are facing. And the second challenge was how to ensure continuous collaboration among different functions. So to deal with this, we immediately launched a work from home stipend wherein employees could purchase everything needed to work comfortably and efficiently from home. It could be setting up a workspace for you. It could be a desk, comfortable chair. It could be good internet connection. So that was one thing we did immediately. On the collaboration front, of course, there were many things, as Amy said, there were many things we did, but one of the things we did is we started bi-weekly all hands, which was otherwise a monthly event at Observe. So this time was used by all the functions to share the progress that their individual departments have done. So yes, apart from this, there were many fun activities that we planned. So these were the challenges, but I'm glad that we were able to come up with some reasonable solutions here.
Yeah, and I can definitely say that I felt very supported thanks to the efforts of both of you communicating what our benefits were and that we had a stipend to bring in the equipment that we needed in order to do our job well. So now that we're kind of in the thick of it, right? We have settled into this new normal. We have kind of settled into, okay, working from home is how things are going to be moving forward. So, what have been some of the ways that you have really tried to engage the teams? Because obviously, working remotely and having virtual teams places its own unique challenges and, you know, forces people in your roles to really get creative in terms of how you're engaging staff members and keeping people connected. So, I'd love to hear a little bit more, Amy, on kind of what have been some of the tactics that you've seen work well and how did you go about planning them and putting them together?
Yeah, so one of the things that, or some of the things we've been focusing on, because in the office, we really like to celebrate people's birthdays and we really like to make people feel special. And we also do happy hours, and typically we all eat lunch together. So in a virtual sense, we decided to start doing virtual lunches and virtual happy hours that people would be excited and enthusiastic about participating in. So I like to ahead of time send out some interesting like emails and more lively communications. Some of the things we've done, for example, for like a virtual happy hour are PowerPoint karaoke. People really enjoyed this. It was very interactive and it got people to step out of their comfort zones a little bit. And we actually had a lot of people speak who normally haven't joined the happy hours quite as often and maybe don't speak quite as much, and they had actually a really good time sharing their perspective during the PowerPoint karaoke. So I highly recommend doing that as an engaging activity. And then one of the other things we've also done that was very successful was the Observe AI Fitness Challenge 2020. As you can see, this is a way that is a unique way to get people up and moving, because one of the main things as we've been working virtually from our homes is that people are maybe sitting around a lot more than they're used to, not really able to walk around quite as much. Typically people are like when in the office, they're able to walk around, walk up and down stairs, go in and outdoors, go out to lunch, do all kinds of things. So one of the things that we really wanted to do was keep people active even while at home. And yeah, everybody got a good laugh out of it too.
This has been the funniest thing I've seen so far. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Really cool things on the US side, but I know that our team in India has really gotten involved in their communities. And Amita, you've played a really big role in some COVID relief efforts that Observe AI has kind of had team members spearhead on their own, and they've recruited other Observe AI team members to participate as well. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about your experience working in this with this particular initiative.
Yes, you'll agree with this. You've been with us and you've seen the different activities that we do at Observe. So giving back to the community is something that is very very close to our heart at Observe. So when the COVID impact happened, we saw the immediate impact around Bangalore city was the livelihoods of daily wage workers were really really affected. They lost their livelihoods and there was no way they could feed themselves. So the team at Observe, one of the person, Keshav from our DevOps team, he had connections where he could help us, get more volunteers. And the team at Observe, they actually donated generously, and company doubled the whole donation. And we were able to actually give out 37,000 meals and 5,000 masks across, across Bangalore slum areas, and it was done for 5 days. So yes, that was a tremendous work that we did, and I really want to thank the team for being so generous in their donation. Um, Apart from this, yes, we also encourage the team to have candid coffee conversations with each other. Every call need not be a Zoom call where you only discuss official stuffs. So yes, just pick up the phone, talk to them as if you are just walking into the cafeteria or pantry, and have some fun conversations, light-hearted conversations. So
Yeah.
these are the things we are actually encouraging team to do. So this is how we are staying connected and engaged.
Yeah, and I can say this is a beautiful way to stay connected. And thank you so much for your efforts in really providing for the people in the Dolmer area and in Bangalore as well. Well, Dolmer is an area within Bangalore, just to be specific. But I know that here in San Francisco, we've also done some volunteer efforts with some of our elderly communities. So I can honestly say it's been great working for a company that really cares about giving back to their communities. So we've talked a bit about, the challenges, some of the strategies that we've used to see success in engaging the teams. But I also wanted to kind of touch on the fact that making people feel recognized and heard is a very difficult challenge. It's one thing to engage folks, but I think a lot of us right now feel very disconnected, very even alone and very, very lonely during this time. So Amy, what are some of the ways that you've been kind of making people feel emotionally connected to each other and really seen and recognized?
Yeah. So one of the things I briefly mentioned earlier is while in the office, like a big part of office culture is making sure that people feel celebrated and that people feel recognized. And so we really love to celebrate birthdays. So even while outside of the office, we want to make sure that people still have that special feeling. And so one of the things we recently did for Ben's birthday up there, for example, he really loves brownies, anything double chocolate flavored, and he is actually located in Illinois. So we just go to each local area, make sure that the person gets something really special, particularly tailored to their individual tastes, and make sure that it's a surprise that comes right to their door. And then another thing that we recently did to incorporate all US team members is to send a special surprise gift to their door. One of the things that we talked about for this is that in the office, we typically have like complimentary coffees and teas and snacks and food every morning and throughout the day for employees to enjoy. So we thought, what better way to make people feel comfortable than to send these things that they normally have in the office right to their door. So we thought, let's send people coffee items, let's send people chocolates and treats, and make people feel special and still thought about and cared for. And it was a huge hit. People really have loved it.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. I used the French press for the first time this morning, and it was amazing. So thank you so much, Amy.
You're welcome.
So as we move into the future, this is going to be how we're going to be operating for the foreseeable future, as I've mentioned earlier as well. So, as we settle into this new normal, what are some of the ways that you, Amitha, in your function as human resources, are working to make sure that the employee experience isn't being diluted? What are some of those ideas that you're trying to bring into play and bring in to really make employees feel engaged, especially during onboarding?
Yes, so I think onboarding is one experience that is very, very important for all the employees because that's like the start of their journey with us. Um, so far, I've onboarded 12 people on a remote setup, and I've realized that the best thing I can really come up with immediately is a digital onboarding kit, which shows how our office looks. So digital onboarding kit is going to be a video compilation of employees welcoming them. It's going to be a customized messages from the team members. So that's one of the plans that we are brainstorming probably to put in place. Apart from that, whenever we return back to our office and we are ready to go back to our work, we are designing a welcome back kit, which will have probably masks, which has observed branding on it, a pocket sanitizer. We don't know what else. We're just thinking, we are brainstorming here. But yes, a welcome back kit is something that I'm really looking forward to putting together. Apart from that, at current situation, we have launched rewards and recognition, and to ensure that people get their points, we have tied up with Zozo portal. So this is nothing but a virtual platform where we can assign points, and each point equals to 1 rupee. and people can go and buy different experiences, vouchers for different websites, and they can just go shopping. So these are some of the creative ways. I think we will all divisions will have to come up with ideas which are unique to your industry, to your team. So yes, that's going to be the new normal.
Right. Well, that's very exciting. I look forward to seeing that new swag, especially Observe AI branded face masks. I would definitely wear those. Um, so here's another resource for you guys if you're interested in learning a bit more about some of the tactics that we've used, including the way that we engage teams on WhatsApp channels, through specific Slack channels as well. You can visit our blog to see a little bit more and check out our blog post on the creative ways that we're staying connected during remote work. And last but not least, we are hiring. As Amita mentioned, she's onboarded 12 people in these last 2 months, and we're only getting started. So if you're interested in learning a bit more about the opportunities that we have available, make sure to visit our website at observe.ai/careers. And that's everything for today. So thank you all for joining us for this conversation. I really loved chatting with the two of you and learning a little bit more about your process. And thank you so much for all of your efforts and for making sure that the rest of the team feels really supported and included during this time.
Thank you. Thanks, Gabby.
So thanks, Gabby. Thanks, Amy.